ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रुत्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। Today happens to be the blessed Tithi Puja, birthday of Srimad Swami Saradanandaji Maharaj. We are all deeply indebted to him, not only us, maybe the generations to come, for the next 1,000 years. All those who would come into contact with this Ramakrishna movement, they will all be deeply beholden to him because of the exceptional life of Sri Ramakrishna which he has produced. This is an extremely authentic version of the life of Sri Ramakrishna, which he wrote in Bengali under the title The Leela Prasanga, and that has been translated into English. Sarat Maharaj was very exceptional in certain ways. Of course, each disciple of Sri Ramakrishna was, for that matter, very special and very exceptional. It appears as though Sri Ramakrishna chose his disciples from a huge variety of spiritual giants, so to say. So that only we have quite a good mixture, so to say. Someone like Narendranath, who became later Swami Vivekananda, so brilliant, so powerful an orator, and naturally a giant of a personality, so to say. And you have at the other end people like Lat Maharaj, who are virtually illiterate, but yet spiritually illumined to the highest degree. So in that scale, or in that order, where do we really place Sarat Maharaj? Sarat Maharaj को हम लोग कहाँ रखेंगे? वही इसके अंदर. Actually, in some sense, they say Sarat Maharaj was perhaps next to Swamiji, next to Swami Vivekananda, the most well-rounded personality. A person who was equally good in all the yogas that way. In his life, you can see perhaps the best combination of the four yogas. Chari Yoga par unki kshamata, that was something really, really outstanding. Because, on one hand, he was a great jnani, tapasvi. Even if you read the Leela Prasanga, you will understand that how he has, every stage, whenever he has introduced any new topic or new idea, he has taken the Purva Paksha, as it were, the other view, and argued it out. So that way, there's a very clear streak of the nature of a jnani in him, that he was so logical and so based on reason are his arguments, are the matter which is marshalled in this wonderful book. And of course, naturally he was so kind, soft and compassionate, which are all the qualities of a bhakta, or a person who is devotional by temperament. And Sri Ramakrishna himself identified him as one of the companions of Jesus Christ in the former incarnation. So in that sense, his devotional nature, because he was so devoted to Holy Mother, that Mother would say that excepting Sharat, no one else can really take my बर्डन, मेरे भार दूसरा कोई नहीं संभाल सकता है शरद छोड़ के. So mother would always feel comfortable if Sharat Maharaj is around. So anything, any problem, any issue, she would immediately refer to Sharat Maharaj. So Sharat Maharaj was, why? Because Sharat Maharaj was so devoted to the Holy Mother. If that is so, you can very well understand that how devoted he was to Sri Ramakrishna. And in that sense, his nature as a devotee or a bhakta. Actually, Sharat Maharaj was so devoted to mother, but then mother was always even in front of her, the children of Sri Ramakrishna, kabhi bhi she would never lift a veil. A bade lamba वही वेल पहन के वो बातें करते थे दूर से. तो तीसरी व्यक्ति, तो जब भी कोई स्वामी जी में कोई प्रणाम करने के लिए जाता था, वो कुछ सामने जो पास में जो खड़ा है कोई महिला के कुछ 2-4 शब्द कहते थे, वही सुन के जो आया प्रणाम करके उनके साथ वही बातें करते थे. सो नेवर इवन यूज्ड टू डायरेक्टली टॉक टू देम. लेकिन शरद महाराज तो माँ की इतनी नजदीकी आदमी थे. ऑब्वियसली ही ऑल्सो परहैप्स हैड इट इन हिज हार्ट, मैं कुछ सीधा कोई सेवा नहीं कर सकता. आई कैन नॉट डू एनी सर्विस टू मदर बिकॉज शी इज ऑलवेज बहुत दूर से प्रणाम करना. You would sit below in the same Udbodhan house. नीचे बैठते थे, वही छोटी कमरा में बैठ के सारे किताब वहाँ ही लिखा था. You'll be surprised even now. The desk is so small and Satma is such a bulky person. So obviously he couldn't even bring it very near because there would always be a desk. He can't. Normally the way he used the desk, he couldn't even use it because it was so small. Even now you can see the desk; it is there. But yet you would rarely go up to see the mother. नीचे से सब खबर लेते थे महाराज की क्या व्यवस्था, क्या है, क्या नहीं है. Not only that, in most of the things, what all we have in the Ramakrishna mission today, greatly we owe it to Sharat Maharaj. Because माँ की जी जन्म स्थान वही जगह भी नहीं मिलता था उस समय. It was so difficult. The brothers wouldn't even part with that because it was all part of ancestral property. माँ की जी पारिवारिक संपत्ति थे सब. So naturally, they would not even allow that. But Sharat Maharaj was very anxious. माँ की वहाँ करना है कुछ. So he was not only that, he got the thing and got the temple constructed, inaugurated, everything he got there. But it was a big task because the brothers wouldn't allow. He had to mediate. He had to do, and he so liberally paid for all that. Useless land. In those days, क्या ग्रामीण का कुछ जमीन था. What was that? But he knew that in time to come, these will all be extraordinary places of pilgrimage. आज हम लोग कितनी हजार ऐसे लाखों लोग, I think several lakhs of people have visited Jairam Bhatti from that time till date. ये सब संभव हुआ सिर्फ शरद महाराज के काम से. Because he was so foresighted, they were haggling for the price. They pay, taking. उसमें पैसा भी नहीं था. इनफैक्ट ही रोड लीला प्रसंगा ओनली बिकॉज ही हैड टू पे ऑफ द डेट्स. वही माँ रहने के लिए कलकत्ता में उद्बोधन की मकान जो उन्होंने किया था, फॉर दैट ही हैड टू बोरो मनी. कैन यू इमेजिन साधुस बोरिंग मनी टू कंस्ट्रक्ट अ हाउस बिकॉज ही फेल्ट दैट होली मदर कलकत्ता में आके यहाँ वहाँ रहना पड़ता है. शी हैज टू स्टे हियर एंड देयर. लेट मदर हैव अ परमानेंट प्लेस. So he took loan and built that house, and to repay that he was writing this book, after the sale proceeds that loan will be liquidated. At that time, even at a heavy cost, he purchased that land of Jairam Bhatti so that mother's birthplace can have a temple at the very spot where mother lived. So he was so liberal and he purchased. And not only that, whenever there was even the family property, the division, he had to personally supervise and do. I mean, you can imagine his extraordinary spiritual stature. साधारण तो साधु जो होना चाहते हैं, बनना चाहते हैं, घर क्यों छोड़ते हैं? ये सब झंझाट में नहीं रहना चाहते थे. लेकिन although he had given up everything long ago, उससे भी क्या 30-40 साल पुराना हो गया था, still just for the sake of mother, just for the sake of the Ramakrishna order, He personally supervised the division of the property, he settled the disputes, everything, so that the place becomes peaceful. Everything was taken care of. He was so thoughtful in his approach and so foresighted. And this is a very, very, very touching incident. How the Holy Mother also, she being the Divine Mother, how she fulfilled this small lingering wish in the mind of Sharat Maharaj. वो शरद महाराज की इच्छा थी, मन में इच्छा था, मैं कभी भी कुछ सेवा सीधा कर सकूं माँ के. But that opportunity was not coming, and it happened in a very strange way. क्योंकि वो माँ तो बीमारी के समय toward the end of her life, she became naturally, after all, the body also has certain limitations. She had really taken so much of suffering, so much of deprivation, so much of difficulties. Finally, in traces, the human element and the divine was showing up. It was impossible for her to completely keep away that aspect from her life. So she was sometimes feeling little irritated, little agitated, because she was suffering so much. The fever was not coming down. It was so very virulent form of fatal malaria or whatever it is. So finally, of all people, she picked up Sarala, who was the dearest of dear sevikas. Because Sarala, naturally, she was practically a trained nurse, so to say, at that time. So she was, constantly, she had been asked to take the temperature and be careful about mother's diet. माँ की जो खाने की देते थे, बहुत सावधान से, जो डॉक्टर जो उनकी अनुमति दिया था, उसके अलावा कुछ देने का अवसर नहीं था. लेकिन रोगी लोग जैसे करते हैं, अरे वही कितने दिन दूध सिर्फ पी सकते हैं. So माँ was getting finally irritated. She said, no, I won't take. Always you come and you force with that feeding bottle, पियो करके, मैं नहीं लूँगा तुम्हारे हाथ से. And every time you come and put that stick in my this thing, बगल, and I won't allow you go. And Sarala was very much surprised, क्योंकि अंत में तो माँ तो कुछ तो लेना चाहिए. Otherwise she was so weak and she was not taking anything. And she said, I won't take milk from your hand. You always come with a thermometer and trouble me. And Ma didn't even know what was it. She said, that stick you put under my armpit every time, what is this? You go away. And finally, then as usual, whenever mother would protest or not agree, एक ही अस्त्र उन लोग के पास था, तुरंत सब बता देते, मैं अभी शरद महाराज के बुलाऊंगा. That day mother was so adamant, बुलाओ, क्या है, बुलाओ शरद. So it was late at night. Sharat Maharaj was actually woken up from his rest, and he said, mother, she's not obeying anything, she's not taking milk, she's completely uncontrollable, you please come immediately. SOS was there, and Sharat Maharaj दौड़ के आ गए. So जब माँ के पास आया, mother was totally different. उन्होंने इतना सब कहा था सरला को, लेकिन जब शरद महाराज आए, बच्चा तुमको इतनी रात में नींद से उठा के लाना पड़ा, we gave you so much trouble, my son, you are at this late hour, you have to be disturbed. Then शरद महाराज तो दूसरी इधर उधर बातें करके somehow he made mother forget. Then she said, माँ अभी थोड़ा से क्या दूध पी सकते हैं? Can you take a little milk now, mother? हाँ देना. Then she immediately agreed, and slowly the same feeding instrument Sharat Maharaj made mother. And he said, नहीं जल्दी मत लीजिए, धीरे जीरिए खावे, धीरे आप लीजिए, जल्दी से कोई दिक्कत होगा. हे देखो कितनी अच्छी बातें करते हैं. Sarala does not know. See Sarad, how beautifully he is feeding. He is consoling, and she was so happy, mother. And actually, हर रोज कैसे कर सकते हैं? एक दिन तो ठीक है, आपकी तो हर रोज वैसे ही करना पड़ा. Then actually you also have human element. शरद महाराज तो साल में एक दिन के लिए किया, हर दिन वैसे कर सकते थे, मेरा तो ध्यान नहीं होता था. But that day he was all compassion, because उन्होंने तो एक दिन मौका मिला, वो चाहते मैं जितना संभव कर लूंगा, whatever is possible I will get done today, because I am not going to get another chance. So let me pour all my Shraddha, all my pyar, prem, sab dhal ke let me do. So he was doing so joyfully. And mother was also so much touched. And you see how Sharat Maharaj, how Sharat knows how to feed, how carefully, how beautifully he is saying, he's saying you take rest, don't do it in a hurry. Hey, Sarla does not know anything. And she allowed herself to be fed. And finally, she was so consoled and so restful. She again said, see my son, we have to disturb you at this night. You please go take rest and all that. And mother was just the normal self. Isliye, they say probably this is another hidden leela of the Divine Mother, because Sarla was so dear to Holy Mother. She was perhaps as dear as Sharat himself, because she had served Mother so faithfully. She was, like a shadow. She was serving the Holy Mother day and night, completely without any rest, without any personal requirements. She was really, she was so devoted to Mother. And, to just push her away. So that's why, somewhere in some biographies they write that maybe माँ चाहते थे शरद भी एक बार कम से कम मौका देना है. Normally now when everything is alright, she cannot call. किसी नाटक करके somehow she had to play this drama that she is not satisfied with Sarla, and then she had to call Sharat and somehow to give him the chance. Otherwise, Mother would never, allow herself to be projected as a divine personality, a spiritual giant and all. The वैसे ही करते थे. नहीं देखो, शरद चाहते थे उनकी सेवा करने के लिए मौका दे दो. Then that would look that it was different, but here she did it in a very beautiful way without even anyone getting a hint of it. Because क्योंकि बाद में जब इसकी परवर्ती जो घटना, इसके बाद जो हुआ, उसी से तो पता चलता है that maybe it was clearly a play of the Divine Mother. Then Sharat Maharaj went away. Then next day से सरला तो नजदीक आने ही बंद कर दिया. She was not coming near the mother. She was so close and she was. सब दूर दूर से सब करते हैं. माँ की जितनी का आप दूर से करते हैं, नजदीक नहीं आती. She is not coming near the mother, but she is doing everything mother was required. माँ तो एक दिन देखा, then immediately she understood, because she knew that she was so dear to her, and then she sent for Sarla. उसकी बुलाया, बुला के समझाया, देखो Sarla, मैं तो because of old age I have become like this. मैं तो बहुत अभी बुढ़ा हो गया. Because of old age I am not able to retain that kind of same equanimity or calmness. Sometimes I feel because of शरीर की तकलीफ से, because I am so much suffering sometimes maybe. But do you think that I can really be angry with you? थोड़ा दो चार बातें करते करते तो Sarla was weeping, and naturally mother loved her so much. Not only that, बाद में भी उसके बहुत कुछ इंस्ट्रक्शन दिया था कैसे रहना जगत में, how she should live, how she should continue. Because towards the end, Sarla was so inconsolably weeping because she knew that mother is going to go away. She said, I cannot stay after you. Then mother told her, made provisions, mother did everything for her. So this was a small little incident to give perhaps an occasion or opportunity to Sharat Maharaj also to exhibit his quality, and not only that, the one desire in his heart that he had done so much for mother, but some little personal service, Guru ki personal service, mother, maa ki, something very personally he wanted to do, and to give that opportunity. So you get Sharat Maharaj's devotional temperament through all that, the way he was doing. And if you say karam ki baat kare, you are perhaps the greatest karmi yogi, because so silently year after year, Swamiji made him the secretary. अभी इसके हम लोग general secretary कहते हैं, उस समय there was only the post of secretary, but he was actually the chief executive of the order, chief administrator of the order. And in initial stages, उसमें तो कितना नियम की कानून की तो सवाल ही नहीं था. It was so difficult at those times. साधु लोग तो हमेशा sadhus are so independent spirited. It's very difficult to control them, because जिन्होंने सब छोड़ फोड़ के आया, वो कैसे किसी को क्यों मानेंगे क्यों? See, The whole thing, the Ramakrishna order, the way sannyasis lived, this itself was something very new, a new experiment which was not there ever in the history, at least in the Hindu tradition before Sri Ramakrishna. It was completely a new model which Swami Vivekananda really discovered and put it into practice. So naturally, those who came in the initial stages, nowadays many of us come, as the days go by, still many others are coming. They are directly from the world and they don't even appreciate in great depth the extraordinary requirements of a monastic life. साधु बनने के लिए जो क्वालिटी जो गुनावली की प्रयोजन जरूरत है उसके बारे में तो ज्यादा तो नहीं जानते अभी भी जो लड़का लोग आ रहे हैं बिकॉज दे आर डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम द वर्ल्ड कोई IT एक्सपर्ट है कोई कंप्यूटर एक्सपर्ट है इंटरनेट एक्सपर्ट है सो इंजीनियर डॉक्टर सो मेनी आर कमिंग बट those days because it was so close to the times of Thakurman Swami and the direct disciples many of those used to be extraordinary tyagis tapasvis. Look at, if there's something disagreeable, immediately they will go away, go for tapasya for months, 1 or 2 years they won't come back because they were all, it was a different atmosphere altogether. So in those days to keep the order together, whenever there was anything they would immediately say. If nobody could solve, those problems would be referred to Sharat Maharaj because he was so full of compassion, love, calmness personified. So deeply, nobody could excite him. He was one person, there is not even perhaps a single instance where we find that Sharat Maharaj got irritated or Sharat Maharaj got angry. I have never seen anywhere in his life story or anywhere else because he was endowed with extraordinary temperament. So Swamiji used to say, Dilemache Rakto, that type of fish where the blood is so cold, it never gets excited. That kind of, because even in the most difficult times, whenever there was a problem, even if other direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna could not manage, all those cases would be referred to Sharat Maharaj. Because they knew that his very approach, his very nature, his temperament would make them all feel calm and it will solve the situation. That is how he was. So in every instance, whenever there was problem, there were serious problems even at that time. Naturally, it was a formative years and there were a lot of other administrative issues, other monastic value related issues. Everything he would handle very beautifully. So, and he worked tirelessly. After all this administration, almost he left this world in 1926 and mother was alive till 1920. That means, excepting for the last 5 or 6 years, till that time he had to completely manage the household of the Holy Mother, take her entire responsibility in every sense, her travels, her arrangements, medicine, treatment, financial matters, everything he had to shoulder, in addition to shouldering the entire responsibility of the organization. Because Holy Mother was not part of the order. She had a separate household. She had a huge number of disciples, thousands of disciples. Even many of the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna would go to Holy Mother because they knew that she was an extraordinary spiritual giant. So she had establishment, one in Jairambati, one in Kolbara, one in Calcutta. So to provide her sevaks, the attendance, other requirements, travel arrangements, everything Sharat Maharaj had to do. Not only that, there were 3 or 4 stark mad people living with Holy Mother. Obviously, all those responsibilities also spilled onto Sharat Maharaj. He was managing everything. Plus, he had done this construction of the Udbodhan house. He was managing, he was getting up a temple built at the birthplace of Sharada Devi. Then he was writing a book to write such a monumental work in that condition where there were visitors day and night. You can imagine what a great Karmayogi he was. A person really what is described in Gita without any sense of attachment. Karmanyevadhikarasya mahaphaleshu kadachana. If there is any standing example of such a Karmayogi, that is Sharat Maharaj. So he did all that, and not only that, with all that, absolutely no show, no flamboyance. He was so unassuming. He had neither that kind of an external look, nor was he. Nobody knew him to be a very great orator or this and that. But he was a great scholar, as you read from this book. He has thoroughly studied. He was a jnani, he was a bhakta, he was a karma yogi, and he was a yogi also. Because such calmness, such deep contemplative nature, only such people can produce such books. And apart from all that, he was very well versed in tantras. Perhaps one of the the only disciple of Sri Ramakrishna who was so well versed in the tantras also. To add to one more dimension, not only the 4 yogas, he was well versed in the tantras also. He had taken the formal initiation under tantra. So he was so well versed in every scripture, every school of thought, and he was such a combination of jnana, bhakti, yoga and karma. And he was not only that, so unassuming, so selfless. See, when Raja Maharaj passed away in 1922, there was time to elect the next president of the order. Abhi kaun president banenge? Naturally, Sharat Maharaj was the unanimous choice. Because they knew that after Swamiji, he was the most all-round personality. He knew there was such a wonderful balance of all the 4 yogas, and he was such a spiritual giant. And he was one person whom the entire order obeyed and respected so much. So unanimously they wanted him to be the president. But he quietly declined, saying that no, Swamiji, मेरे ऊपर जो भार अर्पण किया था, मेरे को संघ का एक काम करने का, चलाने का दायित्व दिया था, मैं वही पालन करूँ. Swamiji made me secretary. I will die as a secretary. I don't want to do anything else. So much he was not only to Thakur and Ma, devoted to Swamiji also. Swamiji जिसने कहा मैं वैसे करूँगा. Whatever he told me, I will follow till the end of my life. I don't want anything else. He refused to become president. I will say 1000 शिष्य बनते थे उनको भी. See, now you begin really, these are the things, that should really make us reflect. हम लोग के जीवन में. We also do work, we also do paid work, we do voluntary work, we work at sadhus. That kind of obedience. Whatever Swamiji said, I won't move an inch away from the line drawn by Swamiji. He has clearly said, you do this, I will do this all my life. So, that is why they could rise so much in spiritual stature. We often complain that we are not progressing, that nothing is happening because, we are not reflective about our own lives. हम लोग कैसे करेंगे, क्या करेंगे? Whenever we do, we start immediately finding fault, finding complaints, doing this, doing that, what is required, what is not required. See, that is why, Karma Yoga, Swamiji has said clearly. But, unless it is done the right way, instead of taking us forward, it will take us backward. It's a struggle, no doubt. But, we get attached, we are so fussy about conditions, we are so fussy about responsibilities. Kitne bataya, what is the role, this and that. We get involved in so many other irrelevant issues, is it not? So, Sharat Maharaj that way, is an extraordinary example, an extraordinary model for all of us. Because, if you read and follow Sharat Maharaj's life, he clearly set before you a great example how the combination of 4 yogas is possible. For example, if you see Swamiji, you are overwhelmed by his intellect. Itni tikshna unki chintan, his sharp intellect, his capacity to think, incisive logic, arguments. So you get carried away by his that oratory. You also want to become a great speaker, a great such a towering personality. And if you go to a person like Raja Maharaj, you are always, the idea of samadhi, the bhava, the spiritual moods, being absorbed in contemplation, meditation, jada se jada jap karna. Those are things seem to attract us in one way. And even if you go to people like Latu Maharaj, pada ye sab jarurat nahi hai, through all the books aside, let us do only japa. And if you go to a person like Akhanda Anandji, din raat kaam karo, nothing else, day and night. But if you go to Sharat Maharaj, if you read his life carefully, we get a wonderful admixture of all the 4 qualities. Jnana, Bhakti, Yoga, Karma ka samanvay, kisi जीवन में, you always find. See, the point is, you can follow any model. आप जो भी model आप अनुसरण करें, दिक्कत नहीं है, but you must do it sincerely. आप अखंडानंद जी के मॉडल में जाते जाते आप राजा महाराज के मॉडल के बारे में सोचें, आपका गलत हो जाएगा. See, you must, when you think about other models, you must also think how this can be integrated into my own life. मेरा जीवन में कैसे उतारना उसको? It's not it's easy to think that I will also become like a Raja Mahal. क्या संभव है? Does it happen like that? Or does by merely stating can we become another Akhandananji? The way he did that relief work, the way he started that Anath ashram, how the Hindus, Muslims, everybody could live, such children from every community, and his life. See, so much so, he even after becoming president, he would spend more time in Sarkachi than in Belur. अभी तो बेलूर का president बन गए, लेकिन he was more busy because he was so devoted to that job. See, if you find that in each one of their life, then many of them, not only they were so much devoted to Thakur, whatever Swamiji said was law for them. क्यों? ठाकुर नरेंद्र को हम लोग का नेता बनाया. ठाकुर made Narendra the leader of us. So whatever Narendra says is Thakur's nirdesh. That was the attitude. That is why Sharat Maharaj was so successful in spiritual life, because he literally followed Swamiji, and Swamiji never spoke anything which Ramakrishna did not say. So naturally he was literally following Thakur's verdict, Thakur's dictates, and that is why he was growing so much in spiritual life. He himself became a spiritual giant. So Akhandananji literally followed Swamiji, gave his life, and he was such a giant personality. Each one of them. See, each one could have started a separate organization by themselves. Each one of them was such a powerful spiritual giant personality. But all of them completely effaced their own individual identity and merged it with Sri Ramakrishna through the bidding of Swamiji. Swamiji के बीच में रख के उन लोग ठाकुर के पास पहुंच गए. Because they knew that following the route given by Narendra was the one which would please Ramakrishna and take them to the ultimate goal of life. So there were it was such a well-knit orchestra, so to say, because each one was playing, but कोई बेसुर में कोई नहीं गाता था. Everybody used to sing in the same tune because it was all set by Swamiji, who was the master, was controlling the whole orchestra by his signals, and everybody was playing according to the tunes which Swamiji had told them. So Sharat Maharaj's life is a combination, but behind that also you see that whatever Swamiji had told, whatever Swamiji had dictated, his order, his dictate, that was supreme, and that is why he could run it so successfully. One of his greatest achievements was the first convention of the Ramakrishna order, which he got organized in 1926. It was a remarkable occasion, extraordinary occasion. Some of the direct disciples were still alive, like Mahapurush Maharaj, then and Akhandananji, Vijnanananji, Sharat Maharaj, Abhidananji. They were all alive at that time. And it was a marvelous occasion. With that, he really gave up everything. I think the end of that year or next year, he gave up his body. So, Sharat Maharaj's life, if you read, you get a wonderful model of a combination of the four yogas. But at the same time, you have to remember that it will be successful only again you need a guiding principle. See, Swamiji himself says somewhere, unless you have a combination of the four yogas, you will not be really cast in the mold of Sri Ramakrishna. The mold of Sri Ramakrishna was an embodiment of all the four yogas. So, if you have to be really trained that way, if you have to reach a spiritual perfection according to Sri Ramakrishna, there must be a play of all the four yogas in your life, and through Sharat Maharaj's life, we get a wonderful example as to how that can be done. So, of course, the days he spent with Sri Ramakrishna, we do not get much of a description. Sharat Maharaj Thakur ke saath kaise raha, what were all that exchange between them, जैसे नहीं मिल रहा है. आपकी किताब मत पढ़िए जो भी, there are casual references here and there. Sharat Maharaj is not mentioned much at all, unlike Naren or somebody else. So ज़्यादा वहाँ नहीं लिखा नहीं है. लेकिन through this Leela Prasanga, when you read that, because somewhere Sharat Maharaj himself clearly said that I have not written anything in this book which I have not experienced myself. Here there is detailed descriptions about Nirvikalpa Samadhi, other Samadhis. You can understand how much he had realized himself. He said, I have not written anything in this book which is beyond my experience. So that is why he could clearly portray Sri Ramakrishna. Unless he was a person of Samadhi, a person of such exceptional spiritual luminosity, how he could describe Sri Ramakrishna so beautifully. It is one of the most authentic lives of Sri Ramakrishna which really stand the test of times, because there is no supernatural element in it, there is no adhimukti, there is no exaggeration, everything is made down to earth, analyzed very incisively, very logically, presenting all the other views. कितने पूर्व पक्ष है सब इसमें डाल दिया. Whatever may be the objections, before others he himself were raised in every place, and that is why this life is so charming to read. So he has clearly made, and not only that, to follow this model, he must always remember that behind Sarath Maharaj, these 4 yogas, was his deep devotion to Swamiji. Because Sarath Maharaj had, he was so devoted to Swamiji, and Swamiji said, you come to West, he simply went. See, if you read maybe in some of the books of Swamiji's brothers and Mahendranath Gupta, you will know that how Sarath Maharaj was struggling in the initial years. Because he has not much of a knowledge of English. In those days, to go abroad without really being well grounded in that language, आप मान लीजिए कितनी कष्ट का एक कोई काम है. And he was specifically called for preaching, not for any relief. पर कोई खिचड़ी बांटने के लिए तो नहीं बुलाया. He was specifically called to give spiritual ministration, to give talks, to conduct classes. But simply because नरेंद्र बुलाया, मैं जाऊंगा. Absolutely, that obedience to leader, and that is what really raised him up so much. So he was unquestionably perhaps the most admired among the direct disciples, because his life was absolutely free from any controversy, never any kind of irritation. If Sarath Maharaj says, nobody will say no. ऐसे बताते थे, किसी का नकार करने का क्षमता नहीं था. He was immediately accepted whatever he did, because he was so appealing in his approach. And so behind that were the 2 ideas: his devotion, his obedience to Swamiji, and his total obedience to the Divine Mother who came as the Holy Mother. So he was so devoted to Mother that really put the seal on all his actions, all his life. By serving the Mother, he got so much of spiritual power. See, that is what happens when you serve an extraordinary spiritual power. A spiritual personality, she would in turn definitely pass on much of those spiritual power to the sevaks. Whoever, that is why even in a small way, when Sarladi later on became Bharati Prana, even now they say he was the most outstanding president of Sharda Math, because the very contact, the very closeness to such a giant personality as the Holy Mother also added to the spiritual lustre of Shardaranji, was otherwise himself was a great luminary. See, you can imagine this person's humility. A person, one of his maybe childhood friends, came and told him, Maharaj, मैं सिद्धांत ले लिया, मैं सब त्याग करके छोड़ के चल जाऊंगा. He was fairly advanced, Shardaranji's boyhood friend, he must have been well past 60 or whatever it is. So he came to tell Maharaj, I am going to give up everything. And Shardaranji कहा, अरे तुम तो बहुत ही अच्छी बातें कर रहे हो, you are a wonderful person. मेरा देखो ना, मेरा कितना attachment, अभी कितना मैं पहना है देखो. It was cold and he was putting on sweater and all that. तुम तो सब त्यागने के लिए सोच रहा, मैं तो देखो कितनी attached हूँ. You are giving up everything and so attached, I put on so much winter clothing and all that. He was, that way. Not only that, he was so compassionate. Someone was living in one of these slums, and that person was in his deathbed. He was dying out of very contagious disease like TB or something. In those days there was no cure for TB. TB was considered a fatal disease. He sent word that he would like to see Sarath Maharaj. Sarath Maharaj was the highest personality in terms of the scales, hierarchy of administration, was the secretary of the order. He quietly, one day after food or something, when everybody was probably resting, nobody would look for him at that time. Not that when he was busy. When we go, we announce everywhere, मैं किसी को तबीयत ठीक नहीं है, मैं देखने जा रहा हूँ. We keep on announcing so that everybody knows that you go and visit somebody. He went at a time when nobody would even know that he was absent. Quietly went along, he took a brahmachari And not only that, he went and he sat by his side, and in that condition, that person offered something, Sharat Maharaj took it. Nobody would have done it. One thing, because not only he was extremely great as a spiritual personality, his compassion. And he know that that person's mind, how it would feel, if he doesn't take it. And how joyful he would be even if he takes a small portion. Simply he did not think about his body, about his health or anything. He was quite old. Perhaps these are the reasons why he died also very relatively early. He did not care. He simply took it, and when the brahmachari was protesting, he said, please don't tell anybody. This is something, because otherwise, at least that person got so much of happiness and joy because I took something. After all, the body would go one day. What is there? So, these are all small incidents, but that really give an insight into the depth of the personality. If you read Sharat Maharaj's reminiscences with some of the people, you will be amazed how ordinary housewives, छोटे-छोटे बच्चे लेके आते थे, how you would even handle those small children, giving them some joy, making some fun with them, giving them small gifts. In fact, one small child, you would go and take the desk and you sit, Sharat Maharaj, and writing like Sharat Maharaj, somebody would. So much he was such an adorable soul even for young children, in spite of his age, stature and being a spiritual personality. That is where real greatness lies. Someone who could associate, whether it is a 5-year-old child or a 50-year-old man or a 80-year-old person, still he was equally endearing, equally adorable, equally affectionate, equally considerate for every person. So it was, if you read Sharat Maharaj's life, you feel amazed how a person of such a stature, how he could contain himself. Actually, the greater and greater one grows in spiritual life, perhaps the more and more one is able to keep it under wraps, keep it concealed. Even if you, of course, if you magnify it 1,000 times, you get Holy Mother's life. Sharat Maharaj, after all, modeled himself so much on Holy Mother. Even in that humility, concealing his own spiritual greatness, probably he followed the Holy Mother. Because, like Mother, he was also totally concealing. And nobody could even imagine that he was such a giant of a personality spiritually. So, when we read this Leela Prasang also, we should constantly remember Sharat Maharaj, his life, his contribution. Because the whole life gets authenticated by not only the narrative or the literal account, but the personality behind it. Not only the personality of Sri Ramakrishna, the personality of Sharat Maharaj, who was the writer of this biography of Sri Ramakrishna. Because he was so spiritually illumined, it is an absolute truth, and truth alone is contained in this book. There is nothing else. So we can take it virtually like a Veda, and we can rely upon this to meditate on Sri Ramakrishna, to know about him, to think about him, to ruminate about his life and the incidents, and in turn get spiritually benefited. Some of the Swamis used to tell us, don't keep on reading this interpretation, that explanation, rather. Go to the original text. Don't go to the original works. When you read Leela Prasanga, it's not just reading. It's a kind of meditation. It's a kind of Leela Chintan. You are thinking about an extraordinary spiritual life, an avatara, through the words, through the expression of someone who himself lived an extraordinary life. So it gets a double sanction and double authenticity when you read such a work, and this reading itself is nothing less than doing a japa or a dhyana on Sri Ramakrishna. That is the effect of reading Leela Prasanga, because that was written by Sharat Maharaj. Today is Ravir Maharaj's Janmatithi, birthday. Let's pray and pay our homage to Sharat Maharaj, and also pray that he guides us and gives us the necessary wisdom and the capacity to understand this insightful life story of Sri Ramakrishna, so that helps us in our growth of our spiritual dimension. That's what we should really pray for. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.